The economic metric based on rice, known as Kokudaka, served another vital role. It was employed to estimate military strength. In the previous video, we explored the importance of rice in early modern Japan. People converted various products into rice value and used Kokudaka to measure the economic scale of a region, somewhat similar to our GDP today. They also used rice as a form of currency to optimize taxation. To establish Kokudaka and facilitate taxation, they standardized the unit of volume known as the Koku. 1 koku is equal to 1,000 servings, which is almost equivalent to the yearly meals, consisting of the lunar calendar's 354 days with 3 meals each day, totaling 1,062 servings. Therefore, another role of Kokudaka is to determine the number of soldiers each territory could sustain annually. But it doesn't mean that a person with Kokudaka of 10 kokus can deploy 10 men. It's essential to emphasize that within this context, Kokudaka serves as a representation of the total production. Consider the example of a territory with a total production of 10,000 kokus. With a tax rate of 50%, the income would amount to 5,000 kokus. These 5,000 kokus effectively function as the operational budget for the territory. Deploying 5,000 men from this budget would deplete the available resources for the samurais, leaving them with inadequate food, insufficient means to acquire new clothing or weaponry, and lost opportunities to initiate new business ventures. Essentially, there would be no activity other than conscription. Generally speaking, daimyo governors overseeing territories yielding an annual 10,000 kokus would mobilize 250 men for military service, encompassing both combatant and non-combatant roles. The figure of 250 men might not sound like a large number. Here is an image that shows actual crowd sizes, and this particular crowd comprises almost 280 men. When you actually see them in front of you, it can indeed seem significant. The general draft is said to be 250 men, but in reality, there were many different situations. Here are some records. 300 men were deployed per 10,000 kokus during Tokugawa Ieyasu's Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. 5 men were deployed per 100 kokus during Hashiba Hideyoshi's Siege of Odawara in 1590. 6 men were deployed per 100 kokus in the document Akechi Mitsuhida's Law, Kachugompo in 1581. Let's simulate how a daimyo who governs a territory equivalent to 10,000 kokus organizes an army of 250 men. In the face of an imminent emergency, the daimyo requests 50 middle-ranked samurai under his command to contribute 5 men each. A middle-class samurai takes his men to the battlefield. To fulfill this requirement, he would select himself and 2 of his subordinates as combatants. These subordinates belonged to the low-class samurai category and did not possess their own territories. They were responsible for bringing their own food for the initial 3 days of service. Additionally, the middle-class samurai would hire 2 peasants for porter and construction duties. These peasants received rations as compensation during their time of military service. Unable to expect any other form of payment, they often sought opportunities for looting in and around the battlefield. While the samurai had already assembled 5 men, he also needed to hire a horse caretaker. Traditionally, a samurai meant a horse archer, and owning and riding a horse was considered essential. The image of a samurai swordsman, as we know it today, became established after the Sengoku period. In addition to the war horses, the middle-class samurai was responsible for providing their own equipment, including katanas, bows, spears, matchlock guns, armors, and flags. Although rations from the daimyo or higher authorities could be expected after the 3rd day, there was still a possibility of shortages since the concept of military logistics didn't exist until that time. In such cases, the soldiers resorted to looting as a means of compensation. Okay then, let's apply this conscription based on the Kokudaka to the Battle of Okehazama in 1560. The provinces involved in the battle were Owari Province under Oda Nobunaga, and Suruga, Totomi, and Mikawa provinces under Imagawa Yoshimoto. To estimate the number of soldiers, we can use the average ratio of 250 men per 10,000 kokus. Based on the Kokudaka data from the Taiko Kenchi survey conducted 20 to 30 years after the battle. The Battle of Okehazama in 1560, a battle we look at with more depth in another video. Oda Nobunaga governed Owari province with an annual Kokudaka of 570,000 kokus, primarily obtained from the northern farm belt. Based on Kokudaka calculations, his projected army strength would have been 14,000 men. However, he confronted internal rebellions led by his relatives and external conflicts with the Saito clan, who were adversaries in the north. These challenges complicated the situation, making it difficult for him to deploy his entire army against Yoshimoto. In contrast to Nobunaga, Imagawa Yoshimoto had forged alliances with neighboring regions to prepare for his attack on Owari province. He ruled over Tsuruga province with 150,000 kokus, Totomi province with 255,000 kokus, and Mikawa province with 290,000 kokus, totaling 695,000 kokus annually. Despite governing 3 provinces, his Kokudaka was slightly higher than Nobunaga's 570,000 kokus. This unexpectedly low crop yield became a topic of debate in later generations. Based on Kokudaka calculations, the projected army strength was 17,000 men. However, according to the historical document Shincho Koki, his army strength was reported as 45,000 men. Even if he enforced a high military service ratio of 6 men per 100 kokus, he would have had only 41,000 men. Indeed, Kokudaka alone did not provide a comprehensive assessment of the income, as it excluded certain types of revenue. It is likely that the Kokudaka estimation for Owari province, based on the Taiko Kenchi survey, was higher compared to other regions. This could be attributed to the fact that Owari province, being the birthplace of the Kokudaka taxation, implemented the system earlier. So, soybeans and wheat were already taxed in Owari province and converted into their equivalent rice value, while some provinces had yet to implement this conversion. Plus, Owari province benefited from additional income generated by its 2 major ports, which contributed to its overall wealth beyond the Kokudaka estimation. Likewise, Imagawa Yoshimoto's circumstances were shaped by factors that extended beyond the scope of Kokudaka calculations. Notably, among the roughly 2,000 villages in Tsuruga and Totomi provinces, 114 villages paid taxes in cash rather than rice until 1637. Additionally, 9 villages situated near the Imagawa gold mines paid taxes in gold until 1676. These forms of taxation had not been included in the Taiko Kenchi survey in 1582 to 1598. Also, during that time, Japan experienced a gold and silver rush due to advancements in industrial technology. Yoshimoto's gold mines served as a valuable source of supplemental income. These factors may explain why estimates of Yoshimoto's army size exceed those based solely on the Kokudaka. The figures proposed by the Imperial Japanese Army, suggesting 25,000 men, and the documented account in Insider Takeda's record, Koyo Gunkin, indicating over 20,000 men are compelling and offer additional insights beyond Kokudaka-based projections. I hope you now have a better understanding of how Kokudaka is used. Kokudakas provide valuable insights into economic and military scales. According to an economist survey, Kokudaka only reflects around 30% of the real economy. Therefore, it's important to be aware that Kokudaka may not capture the whole picture, and other factors should be considered. In summary, the key points covered in this video are: Koku is a unit of volume in Japan. Kokudaka represented yields and functions similarly to GDP. The Kokudaka taxation assigned rice a monetary role. Samurais used Kokudakas to assess the army strengths. The wisdom demonstrated by people in the past is truly remarkable.
Help motivate us to make more videos by liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching!